Now, of all the criticisms Jeremy Corbyn's detractors make of him, perhaps the most pungent is that he can't win a general election. Are they right? What does that cherished quarry, the swing voter, make of Jeremy Corbyn? Nowhere better to find out than Nuneaton. It's said that on election night, it was this bellwether town's declaration for the Conservatives that told David Cameron he was back in Downing Street. Well, since then, its electorate has been endowed by the cognoscenti with particular predictive powers. So we sent Katie Razzle there to test them.
With its emphatic rejection of Labour in May, Nuneaton became the pot of gold at the end of every aspirant Prime Minister's rainbow. So what do these newly anointed political seers make of Jeremy Corbyn? Would Labour with him in charge hit the right note?
I don't think he can win an election.
Why not?
The country don't want that. The country don't want that. They're going backwards. 40 years old politics. We used to get all this politics at the car factories in Coventry, down the road. Red Robbo and all them. Everybody out on strike every 5 minutes at the Jaguar cars. Leyland. Don't want that now.
Jeremy Corbyn's policies are, more taxes on the rich, protect the welfare state.
I can understand all that. You tax the rich or tax the companies and that. What's going to happen? They're just going to clear off. There'll be no jobs at all then. What are you going to do then? All work for the council.
But Jeremy Corbyn says the cards in his hand have been underestimated. He talks of huge public support and claims what he's offering resonates with older people who once were Labour
I'm all in.
and younger ones previously turned off politics.
Okay, we had it all in.
If Jeremy Corbyn was leader of the Labour Party, would you vote?
I would vote, and I would vote Labour, most definitely.
So you'd be sold?
Yes. I'm not sold I don't think I'm sold if any of the others are. There are so many people who said they would vote Green if Green had a chance of getting in, and they are the people that Jeremy Corbyn will be enticing.
Do you think Nuneaton, this place, could take Jeremy Corbyn to its heart?
I think so, definitely. I think this is the perfect sort of place for Jeremy Corbyn because it's full of decent working class people who want to be treated right and want to be prioritised. Giving someone they can rally, the people's champion, so to speak, without obviously sounding too Hollywood about it. But yeah, I think he's someone they could rally behind because he's someone who they feel will benefit them.
Would Jeremy Corbyn tempt you to vote Labour?
I don't think it would tempt me over at all, but it's interesting to just see all the arguments going on within the Labour Party between everyone hating each other at the moment. That makes it quite interesting. I'm happy with the government that we've got at the moment, and when it comes to 3 years' time, I'll definitely be looking over different policies and seeing what people want to do for the country.
The important race at Mallory Park today was on the track, but a recent poll found Corbyn is the Labour contender most popular with UKIP voters, and there were 4 million of them in May.
He's fresh blood. He's new blood. It sounds like he could do the job. I would like to see a little bit more of his policies and what he's really interested in. I'm a working man. It's as simple as that. I haven't got a fortune sitting in the bank, and I just want to see a politician or politicians in there for us people, because we pay our way, and we pay our way for a lot of other people.
And Jeremy Corbyn potentially could be that man?
I think he could, yes.
Back in town, the ukulele charity band were less convinced. So it's not scientific, but I do want to know how many of you would vote Labour if Jeremy Corbyn was leader? You put your hands up if you would. Yay, one.
Well, we don't know much about him, do we?
You don't know much about him?
Not really.
Not yet. So it might change with time. Yeah.
Katie Rosalind Nuneaton on potential voters' views of Jeremy Corbyn. Incidentally, in Scotland tonight, the Daily Record has endorsed Corbyn for leader. It's got to be Corbyn, it says, pretty influential in Scotland on the left of politics. Now, there's one part of the Corbyn record that has stirred up passions among some voters, for and against him. It's his strongly pro-Palestinian views. Some suggest he's been too willing to rub shoulders with individuals with deeply unsavoury views, in particular anti-Semites. He's used the word friends in relation to representatives of Hamas and Hezbollah, for example. He has reportedly been at meetings of a group led by a man who transpires to be a Holocaust denier, and even given him money. All this raises wider questions about the left, Israel and the Jewish community. It's a sometimes tricky relationship. I'm joined by Josh Glancy, who's a writer for the Sunday Times and the Jewish Chronicle, and via Skype, International Relations Professor Avi Shleim. Good evening to you both. Josh, what makes you uncomfortable with Jeremy Corbyn's politics as regards Israel and Jewry in general?
I think there's a sense that he chooses his company rather unwisely at times. I think he has some of the things he said when he described Hamas and Hezbollah as friends, but also some of the people he interacts with are pretty uncomfortable as a Jew, or they should be uncomfortable for anyone, really. And I don't think Jeremy Corbyn is anti-Semitic for a moment.
We should say no one is really accusing him.
They're
the
not
Jewish
really.
Chronicle has run a lot about him and
but there is an implication
but
there,
said, not
perhaps.
Said, yeah.
But I don't think he is anti-Semitic at all. There's no evidence for that. But I think in his fervour, in his sort of pro-Palestinian fervour, he has at times been very slow to question some of the associations and opinions of the people he associates with. And that is a little uncomfortable for someone who's auditioning for Prime Minister.
Avi Shleim, do you agree?
No, I totally disagree. I think that in the Jewish Chronicle attack on Jeremy Corbyn, there is a very disagreeable whiff of McCarthyism, of attributing to him guilt by association, of talking about the people he may have met and talked to or rubbed shoulders with, but that doesn't represent his views. They should focus on his views and not indulge in these innuendos. Jeremy Corbyn has been a parliamentarian for 32 years. He has a consistent record of opposing fascist organizations like the National Front and of resisting and opposing racism, including anti-Semitism. So I think he has an extremely good record.
But are you not, sorry to
issues.
interrupt, so sorry to interrupt, but are you not a bit uncomfortable yourself with this group, Deir Yassin Remembered, apparently led by someone who has said, called me a Holocaust denier?
I attended a meeting many years ago by Deir Yassin Remembered, because I believe that the massacre in Deir Yassin should be remembered. But subsequently, the organization was taken over by Holocaust deniers, and I had nothing further to do with that organization.
Right.
So I do not believe that Jeremy Corbyn would knowingly associate with Holocaust deniers.
Josh, is it the root of all of this a sort of a sense on your part that the left has given up on Israel, that the left in politics has somehow deserted you, and it's difficult to now be left-wing and a big supporter of the country?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they've deserted me because I'm not Israeli, but what I would say is that I think certainly the Jeremy Corbyn left packages Israel in with America, with what they would call neoliberalism, with a lot of the things they oppose, and I think they oppose it kind of automatically, unthinkingly, and...
But it's not unreasonable for them to be pro-Palestinian, to
Not in
vote
the
for example, pro-Palestinian UN motions and to recognise Palestinian states. That's not anti-Semitic or
no, it's not.
illegitimate, is it, in any way?
Here's what I'd say as an example. I think it's perfectly valid for someone in Jeremy Corbyn's position to dislike the state of Israel and dislike its current government. But I also think he should strongly dislike Hamas and Hezbollah.
You don't think he should talk to them even? Isn't it reasonable
Of course
to talk?
of course he should
was
talk.
talking to Sinn Féin before the British government started talking to Sinn Féin.
Of course he should talk to them. I find it odd that he would describe them as friends. I haven't heard him describe Bibi Netanyahu and Likud as his friends. And so I think that it's a little of a concern that he seems to only see one group as his friends and not the other.
Avi Shlomi, Josh's view is clearly widely felt among a lot of people in the Jewish community. Is it reasonable for them to have that fear or concern?
I believe that it's not a reasonable fear because one has to make a very, very clear distinction between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. And criticisms of the government of Israel are in no sense anti-Semitic, and most of them are perfectly legitimate criticisms of specific policies of the Israeli government and the occupation of the Palestinian territories. So Jeremy Corbyn falls within a very broad international consensus which supports the end of occupation and an independent Palestinian state. I don't see that there is anything to worry about there. I think that what the Israeli spokesman and their friends abroad are really afraid is that there would be a British leader who would stand up to Israel and hold Israel to account, because all recent governments, Labour and Conservative, have been very strong and uncritical supporters of Israel.
Avi Shlomi, Josh, thank you both very much indeed.